Today on Drawbli, Abby is drawing.
Light applied to portraits.
Panic!
Oh my gosh.
Panic once again. Click that subscribe button if you're panicking.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve as artists.
Share some of your art online with hashtag Drawbli. And Abby, tell me about applying light to portraits.
Okay, so in the interest of documenting the whole process of us becoming artists, this is just my warm-up sketch. Let's just get that out of the way. There's no light specifically applied to this, nor is it a very good drawing. But we're documenting the whole process and nothing but the process. Thank you very much, and so help me.
So help me, pencil.
So please enjoy this warm-up sketch that it looks a little alarming by the time it's done. But what I'll be doing in the rest of this video is going back to the eggs that I drew in a previous video and selecting 2 of them.
The eggs were the best. That was maybe my favorite video that we've ever done.
Oh, well, thank you.
Just because eggs.
Eggs were so fun with all the little faces drawn on them, and I learned a lot from it, and I was so excited to take my first steps of applying what I learned from that to actual portraits. So if you didn't see the egg video, I took actual reference portraits and copied the lighting from those portraits as best I could to just an egg. Background, color, intensity of lighting, and I did the 30 eggs, and it took me a very long time. All week I spent on that, and now I'm hoping the payoff has come, because can I work in reverse and take the lighting applied to an egg and apply it to a portrait that does not already have that lighting on it? Yeah, a lot more complex, because a portrait has little like indents and features that you can't.
You got so many indents in your face, it's true.
Yeah, lots of difference from an egg. So we're gonna see.
My head's pretty similar to an egg, actually, but I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, mine has some things that are not similar to an egg. I have eyes and a nose and a mouth and ears.
And
a
I
neck.
don't.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing about you, but I love you anyway. And
So this is just the warm-up.
this is just the warm-up.
Just the warm-up.
Yeah.
You're not applying any of your egg lighting. So you're gonna
No.
take specifically some of the lighting scenarios from the last assignment
Yeah,
and start throwing it on top of just a sketch.
exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm gonna do a sketch, which is honestly the really, really fun part to me right now, and try to apply some lighting. And this warm-up sketch is almost done. I'm glad I did it, because obviously I needed to warm up, but boy, am I a little kind of embarrassed to show it off.
What do you think about, what's your thought process with warming up? With that 30 minutes there. I like that, by the way. Thanks for including that.
You're welcome. Well, I will say I don't call everything a warm-up. I only call it a warm-up if it's bad.
Oh, okay. So there is like a lot of misnomers in art like that, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a speed paint, and it's like, is it, or is it just footage that you sped up? Like,
Yeah.
what exactly is a warm-up?
Yeah, it's come to mean something else. It's something I found that helped me get into the groove of drawing for the day. And
Okay, so is it always, it's the first thing you do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you start it with that intention? You're like, this is a warm-up.
Not necessarily, but if I need to, I can like lower the pressure on myself to like create anything worth like looking at. Not that I exert any pressure really much on myself at all. I'm pretty laid back in general about this, but but in these moments in particular.
As we should be.
And you can tell the warm-up's over because the next thing you create is something you kind of like.
Oh.
So the warm-up goes on until you've created something you kind of like. And then you're
Okay.
like, oh, I'm warmed up now.
Okay, now I'm in.
Yes.
Now I'm good.
So the warm-up
Okay.
phase for me was 30 minutes. And now I was like, well, I like this sketch and how it's going. So.
Yeah, I like this sketch a lot too, and I love the green that you chose there.
Thank
this
you.
green and orange, very cool.
Yeah, you see my egg up in the top right for
I
reference.
see your egg.
And I'm going to try to like get an approximation of that lighting onto this lady. It was very fun. And
So you just start with the base lighting. I do remember this from the assignment.
yes, I start with the base lighting, and luckily I do have the reference of a portrait to like actually know where the lighting might fall on an actual face.
Very helpful.
So I do use that, and I did think that was very, very helpful. Yes, thank you. I think you pointed out, at this point I hadn't flipped my canvas much, and you were with me at the coffee shop that day, and there's some proportional problems.
I've never seen this one.
Yeah, you have.
I've never seen this drawing.
Oh,
No?
you have, because you pointed out that her forehead was a little too
Oh,
expanded.
okay, yeah. You did specifically ask me though.
I did. Oh, I did. Yes, let me be clear. Like that was sought out perspective.
I didn't just lean over, take
No.
sip of coffee with pinky out. Her forehead's a little large.
Can you imagine if we did that with each other all the time? Just what are you drawing? Oh, here's everything that's wrong with what you're doing. How awful.
I do that, but I write it down in a journal for you, and I'm going to give it to you on Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will not read it. I would probably not handle that well.
This is cool.
Thank you. I
You're
love
welcome.
the colors. It's exciting to get to start to work with color, which has always been my big, difficult horizon to face in digital art, because prior to having an iPad, I only worked on usually just paper, usually with the most handy utensil, which was usually a pen or a pencil. So grayscale is where I'm usually comfortable, but it's so fun to get to work with color. I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, and I love it.
That's awesome.
Color is great.
Color is great. I like a color. I was really interested in seeing how you would apply your color to your actual portrait, like if you were going to use any blending modes or particular layer effects or anything like that. For me, I actually, in my painting experience, a lot of the time I just use the normal blending mode. I'll occasionally do some different blending modes with lighten, multiply,
Yeah.
screen, soft light, hard light occasionally. But for the most part, I'm just nah, normal's fine.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's where I've been. But based on Ahmed Al-Duri's lessons on the egg, I've become slightly more comfortable with a couple different blending modes.
Nice.
Layer blending modes.
Yeah. What are you using?
Well, there's the mask, which isn't technically a blending mode,
No.
but that was something that I became a lot more comfortable
I use
with.
that for literally everything I make.
Yeah, I had never really used it, but using it 30 times in a row to create lighting was so helpful for locking in some idea of how to do that. And then
Yeah,
I
it's
use...
probably my favorite feature.
Oh, yeah. And then he used overlay, which was the blending mode.
I do like
probably... Yeah, that's the only one
Overlay and multiply are probably the two most common.
So overlay was the one I was already most comfortable with.
Nice.
So it was
by the
nice
way,
to really lock that in.
This sketch is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
The lighting you do on it is amazing.
Well, I caught sight of your work on applying this lighting to a sketch of your own.
Oh no, that was nowhere near this.
It was incredible. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
You're a liar.
I'm not a liar. It's very well executed. Mine is pretty...
You're a liar and a bad liar.
No, I'm not. My lighting is executed as sketchily as my actual sketch, so it's very sketchy lighting and very
but it's
sketchy
so good. It's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, this sketch turns out really cool.
It's fun. I've actually had this JPEG sitting in my iPad for forever.
Yeah?
And it's only now, watching this back, that my brain is registering the little heart stickers on her face. I did
Oh.
not add those. My brain is only just now seeing those.
It is weird how you can miss really big things like that. Not that it's, a huge deal or
No.
adds would add a ton to the portrait. It'd be a fun little thing to add. But there are so many times where I'll be sculpting a character for many weeks, and then I'm like, oh, he's totally smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oops, I need to put that in there.
And obviously, I'm not trying to create a perfectly dimensionally accurate replica here. She's obviously a lot more cartoony in my example here.
And it's way better.
Oh, thank you.
It's so much more interesting and fun.
Oh, well, thank you.
You got a really nice shape language going on there with your rounded forms in the face.
I was thinking about that because we did have a shape language lesson in the Ahmed Al-Duri course.
Look
and
at you.
Yeah,
You're
so
doing
it's
it.
round things, round.
You're doing it all.
I know. I feel like I'm really doing it. I'm really learning
I'm
things.
doing it. I'm doing the art.
I'm writing without my training wheels a
And
little
look
bit.
at this lighting.
This is the
Already.
masking feature, which obviously I needed to start to learn to become comfortable with. I still really struggle with lighting an upper chest area like I'm doing here. That's something I've always had a hard time with. That
Clavicle?
just expands. Yeah, the clavicle area. I don't know why, but I'll get there.
It's complex. There's a lot going on in the shoulder girdle. It's one of the most complex areas of the body, if not the most complex mechanically.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the shoulder girdle though. I'm really just...
that's part of the shoulder girdle, actually.
Yeah.
That's where your arms start.
That's true. I think here I'm using overlay maybe.
Overlay, really? The just basic lighting that you laid in, just black and white, looked so good. It helps, just the values here really help bring the piece to a three-dimensional space.
That's been definitely an overarching lesson in the Ahmed Al-Duri course, is he really starts you off on values and hammering in, like, if you can get your values right, then splashing color on it is just going to look normal and great and usually hit it off pretty well in spite of, maybe lacking in other areas.
Yeah, values are king.
Yeah.
And you are queen knocking this one out of the park.
Oh, thank you. I probably could have worked on it a lot longer, but we were ready to leave the cafe, and so we left.
And so we left. And if you want to leave too, well, you shouldn't. You should click that subscribe button.
And comment below with other ideas of what we can do to improve as artists.
Share your work online with hashtag Drawbli.
And because we do want to see your work as well. And this is actually already the part where we say goodbye.
Goomba. What's your favorite color?
Probably.
Green.
I always say
Orange.
green. I used to say orange when I was 10 or 13 because I felt sorry for it, because that's what you did back then. You
I was just looking at your
anthropomorphized
green-orange
colors.
portrait, so...
What's your favorite color?
You haven't heard of it.
Try me.
It's a real hipster color.
Ooh, yeah.
Chartreuse.
Oh, sounds about right.